Hey everyone, so today I'm in Amherstburg and I'll be checking out Fort Malden during Canada Day. So the first building I'm going to check out is the Visitor Center, which was a museum for Fort Malden as well from 1939. So let's begin our tour. So they say in the brochure that this building was made in Old French style, Old French chateau style. So let's go inside. Hello.
Hello, bonjour. Happy Canada Day.
Yeah, happy Canada Day. Nice.
We've got lots of good programming going on today.
Okay. So what's on the schedule here?
So we've got hourly musket firing demonstrations.
Cool.
Mini militia for the children. You're welcome to join in if that's your thing.
Yeah.
War of 1812 talks.
Okay.
Our cannon firing at 2, music demonstrations, temporary tattoos, and that's all on top of our normal programming. So you can still free to walk in the buildings, into the museum, and get all of that.
What's a temporary tattoo? What's that all about?
I think it's just like spraying on tattoos kind of thing.
And like
it's
a Canada Day theme tattoo?
I think you can do whatever you want. But
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's going on right now? Is the musket
The
demonstration?
demonstration will be happening in about 15 minutes. So you have time to walk down by the water and make that.
Sure. Okay.
You're welcome to take a picture if you'd like, just to kind of have it on you.
Okay. Great.
Hello.
Awesome. All right. Thank you.
Enjoy your visit.
Yeah, I will.
I'm not too sure where he is right now. I can take the paperwork.
This is the volunteer for
So coming ahead of us are the old pensioners' cottages. And my understanding is that they had built a bunch of these after the regular army left. So yeah, look, you got a huge map. So it looks like it goes, so Fort Malden's here. No, all this I believe is the pensioner cottages. And what does it go up to here? 60, so 86. So probably 86 cottages. So what we have here. Pensioner's cottage built in the early 1850s for a retired soldier and his family. 85 of these were constructed just east of the fort, leased at a modest rate to veteran soldiers in return for light military duties. This one, ahead of us right here, belonged to Charles O'Connor, and it was moved from its original location about 500 meters away. So, looks pretty interesting. Let's check it out. So, you can check out the landscaping here too. Looks really neat. Probably grew these back in the day. So this one is a strawberry plant. I found strawberry plants really hard to grow in Windsor. So you have an old cast iron stove here, a desk. I wonder what's here. So this door here is locked. So that's probably the bedroom. And let's go to the backyard here. So they got peas, onions. Also got spearmint, tarragon, chamomile. Then you have your grapes, camphor, some more grapevines, Okay, I can't see the sign. Looks like the rain washed the sign off. Not sure what that is, so if you know, just leave a response in the comments below. So these here, it says potato. You have cucumber, carrots. Yeah, I'm not surprised the cucumbers are not growing there. You need a lot of water to grow cucumbers in a garden. Like, you gotta water it all day. I mean, it's crazy. I've tried growing cucumbers. It's just not worth the effort. So, nicely chopped wood here. Got a nice boardwalk as well. That's the back of the visitor center over there. There you have the main house, probably the officer's house. Yeah, the Detroit River. And so on the left is Boblo Island. So we'll walk some more along this trail. Ahead of us we have two cannons. So it says here, Indian Council House. 200 years ago, a small building stood about 100 meters from here, and that's where the British government and members of the First Nation formed an alliance in the War of 1812. So here's a map. That's the fort, and that's the Indian Council House right there. There's General Brock, and that's Chief Tecumseh. Yep. So, make a reference to this as a sturgeon spawning reefs. And this is the Detroit River Heritage. So, call it a heritage because it's bordered between two great nations, provides vital transportation. They originally had First Nation canoes there, sailing vessels loaded with furs, warships, and there were steamers that brought holidayers to Boblo Island, and giant freighters filled with iron ore. Wow, that's a nice picture of it, what it looked like. Then you have these deep trenches surrounding the fort, which made it very hard for the infantry to penetrate and get to those cannons up there. Very soothing feeling around here. So Parks Cannon has a big tent ahead of us. And that house there, I believe in 1869, the military left and the province turned it into a house for patients of an insane asylum. So this whole area turned into an insane asylum, and then I believe it was the 1900s, they privatized it and sold it off as surplus land, and it became a big lumber mill yard. It's another view of the cannons there. Wow, I like that cannon. It's all shiny brass. So looks like a special occasion cannon. They probably spent most of the year indoors. What does it say on there? Yeah. Is that George Regina? It says on there 1785. I think that's a reproduction. So, what do we got here? Fort defenses. And what the site looked like over time. Okay, so here's a model of what it originally looked like. So let's head over to the tents here. I think we still have time before the musket demo. Oh, so free airbrush tattoos. Okay.
Or if you bring it to my friend in the museum or in the visitor center, they can also give you your Yes. I like that people get excited about the scavenger hunt to the level that I get excited. That's what makes me happy.
There's a scavenger hunt today?
Yeah, so we have, so this is one of the kids programming that we do.
Okay.
And it's going to be all of these items that you're looking for.
Oh, I
If
see.
you have somebody that's with you, or if you want to do it yourself, by
Okay.
all means. It's Canada Day after all. It's a
Right.
free for all. We're all kids today, so.
Okay, is there a prize for the first one who finishes it, or?
No, it's just if they come through, they get a little dog tag from, kind of like a souvenir from
Oh, I see.
from the site. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is that?
That is a smokehouse. However, I will not tell you where it's located.
Oh, I gotta find it. That's a
do.
mystery.
That
Okay.
is the mystery. There are probably two things on that scavenger hunt that you could probably cross off
Yep.
standing here.
Yeah.
But I will, again, not say what those are.
Okay.
But if you do look around you very carefully, you'll probably be able to get at least two of those at
Okay.
this particular moment.
There looks like there's a bunch of other pages here.
Yes, there's a bunch of other little activities in there as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it more info on the history of the site, or no?
It's more very generally
Okay.
for the kids.
Yes.
In terms of like if you wanted more info, like historical, like more in-depth kind of stuff, I
Right.
would definitely consider checking out the museum
Okay.
and going inside the fort. I'll give you actually this if you're interested in that.
Okay.
So that's kind of all the places that you can check out,
Yes.
numbered.
Okay.
There are interpreters. There's someone in the museum, in the visitor center. There's people in the pensioners' cottage and in the cookhouse and barracks.
Okay,
As
great.
well as over here by the trees, we have our traveling forge and trade center. So we have interpreters at all of those locations to give you kind of more info on the site and things
What's
like
at the Traveling Forge and Trade Center? Just interpreters, or is there something else?
that. There's interpreters and the forge is on. It's they do branding, like the kids.
Okay.
They give them brands. They can brand a piece of wood
Yeah.
to see how that works.
Okay.
And then other than that, you kind of get information on, what trades meant here and
Yeah.
how it
Yeah.
kind of provided
Yeah.
the town of Amherstburg with basically how the town of Amherstburg
Yeah.
grew
Yeah.
around the fort because it provided so many jobs and things like that.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah. I guess the musket demonstration starts in like 5 minutes or something?
It'll be at 12 o'clock right here on the water, so you don't have to
Oh,
go anywhere.
over here.
You're already ahead of the game.
Oh, okay. All right. So 4 minutes. So when do the soldiers show up?
They'll be here. It's just one of my coworkers is doing it.
Okay.
And she should be here right at noon.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
They're all heading over now for. Yeah. Okay. People are getting ready for it.
Okay, cool. All right, what am I looking for? Okay. Okay. Let's walk around while we're waiting. I don't see anybody holding a musket yet. Beautiful house.
It all goes smoothly.
So they have these reproduction palisade walls with the timber. And I believe this is the foundation for something. Right here. We got foundation 11 ordnance shed circa 1820s remnants. This here was the area where there was a gun shed and held store supplies and ordnance. It's used for a number of purposes and then demolished in the early 20th century. There's the tents and the brick barracks and the officer's house. Okay, let's see if the lady with the musket is there yet. No, don't see her yet. Oh, there. And she's all dressed up. Now, my understanding from years ago is that they also offer musket rentals where they let you fire the musket for, I think, $20. Probably when the price went up since then. But it should be an interesting demonstration to see. Okay.
Hello, bonjour, everybody. Am I at a good volume? Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Welcome to our 12 o'clock musket firing demonstration. My name is Audrey, and I will be firing the musket of choice by the British soldiers. So this right here is the Brown Bess. Brown for obvious color, Bess, popular woman's name during that time. Now the musket did have a much longer and intricate name. This one was much easier for the soldiers to remember. Weren't the smartest bunch in the bunch. Like I said, this musket here, the soldiers could do this, load and fire this gun in about 15 seconds. So they were able to fire off 4 shots per minute. Super fast, the fastest out of any army during that time period because they practiced with blank cartridges. Now, loading and firing this little piece of equipment here is quite long. Takes me a couple seconds longer than 15 in my opinion. But you start off opening the frizzen to expose the pan. That is where you'll put a little bit of black powder, which is sitting in your cartridge box back here, and it looks like this. You'll take a bite off the top, pour a little bit in there, close it, and you'll bring it down to your feet, pour the rest of the powder down the muzzle. Now that's historically when the musket ball would have entered the musket, but we do not fire live ammunition here at Fort Malden. So after that, you would take out your ramrod, throw it all the way down the barrel, make sure everything nice is compacted in there, put it back, and you'll watch me, you'll hear me go like this and give it a little tap. They did that because, you know, if you're putting the ramrod and you don't bring it back, it's no longer a musket, more or less a harpoon gun, and you need your ramrod to reload. So make sure that you put it back. You'll bring it back to the hip, bring it to full, and then you fire. I will do one shot slow so you can see all the steps. I'll do the other shot as fast as I can, closest to 15 seconds. If you guys have any questions, I am more than welcome to answer them at the end of the demonstration. I do ask that you guys stay over here. Please do not hop the line and try and get as close as you can. Even though it is black powder, it is still quite dangerous. Cool? All right.
Pretty cool. Round 2.
Muskets that we have are able to wad. We have Loyalists and Alexanders. One, I can't remember which one it is, but one of them has a little flap where the paper gets caught, and that can, you know, ruin the inside of the gun. So we avoid wadding most of the time, but it could do that, yeah. Wadding gives it a nice louder bang.
So how many rounds do you fire before cleaning the barrel?
Usually we pretty much fire 2 shots on the hour.
Yeah.
On a regular day. So
okay.
We're firing from 11 o'clock until 4:30 is usually our last demonstration.
Yeah.
So it depends on how many visitors we have and when the visitors are here.
Okay.
So we might. You might be able to fire all day.
Yeah.
You might fire like once, 3 times a day.
Yeah.
You're firing twice, so there's quite a bit of gunpowder in that.
Okay. Okay, but you just clean once at the end of the day?
We clean once at the end of the day.
Okay.
It'd take a long time because
Yeah.
we have to take apart the whole thing
Okay.
and everything.
Yeah.
So we clean it once. So it does get pretty gummy in there by the end
Yeah.
of the day.
Yeah. Okay.
Alright. Thank you so much for coming. We will have another musket firing at 1, but we will be firing our cannons here at 2 o'clock. So if that's something you're interested in, please do come back.
Okay, thank you.
Corporal, if you pull that stake immediately to your left.
Yeah. This one?
You just want us to pull forward up far enough and just kind of...
No, we'll go back.
All right.
Yeah, one more. Grab right under Forward in.
I saw it. Turned around. I saw you on the ground.
Oh. Lift trail.
Ropes.
Down trail.
I'm gonna need the full.
Mike, stow the trail over the other side of the tree.
Yeah, I just need the ropes off. Maybe we can have a picture of it. I got it.
They're gonna be live.
That's good.
You can try picking it up.
Very, very carefully. Is it heavy? No. We're just gonna.
Lift.
Just wanted you to see how heavy it was.
Pivot 90 degrees.
Okay, drop it back now.
You want to try?
Straight on me.
That's my little sister.
Someone grab the wheels just in case. Oh, the window fell.
Yeah, the one that's pulled by the dog. Yeah, that's her.
Yeah, I'll go do many more triple times.
That's so cool. I would love to see it. We will be doing mini militia though. I have some colleagues at the barracks. We've got some clay muskets over there. If you guys want to go and do that, you can put a red coat on. It's a lot of fun. My sister's gonna go do it.
Come on, Nick. Come on, Nathan's on a mission now. Thank you so much.
Right there, right there.
You guys need full range. You need this closed off.
No, we're not worrying about. No. No, 2 o'clock.
If you want us to.
Well, at
Yes.
2 o'clock, we're going to close this all off.
Yeah.
Lower this because you lose.
Yep. Yeah, that's what we
Dang.
No, we're just positioning it. Well, we made sure we had enough guard that we had more around us in case you guys were shooting.
You guys want to take a picture? You ready for a picture?
We can do that.
Hey guys, photo op.
Maybe on that side.
So are they firing the cannon at 2 o'clock or no? Okay, so it's about noon now.
It's like 10 pounds.
Picture for
Okay.
officer.
Minus the plane in the background.
Officer, yeah, I'm trying to squeeze.
I'm gonna go on this angle so I can get everybody.
Alrighty. All right, so let's check out the officer's house. Now I'm not exactly sure when this was built. I'll have to ask. Hi. So when was this house built?
Well, actually, this was built as a laundry and a bakery
Okay.
in 1861 for
Yeah.
the lunatic asylum, the Fort Malden Lunatic Asylum. It was
Okay.
here From 1859 to 1870.
Okay.
So then it became a planing mill from
Yeah.
1875
Yeah.
to 1918 and eventually converted into a house
Okay.
from the 1920s until 1946.
Okay, so this would have been what, like 1860s then?
Yeah,
or-
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, today
Okay.
we use it as our museum. We
Yeah.
house our
Yeah.
artifacts in here.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So is there a narrated tour for this, or you just help yourself?
It's self-guided, so
Okay.
feel free to kind of go through. There are 2 floors of exhibits. You're
Sure.
welcome to- And if you have any questions, you
Yeah.
can shout them out. Happy to answer
Yeah.
anything at all.
Okay, great, thanks. So here's the traditional uniform. Metal there. Okay. So, different soldiers, Royal Navy.
Well, thank God. And the great one is dead. Because
100th Regiment, 1809. 49th Regiment, 1802. It's the Royal Engineers, the Marines, Queen's Rangers, Royal Canadian Volunteers, and the 24th Regiment there. So, this is a grape shot. So you'd have 9 cannonballs stuck in that jar, and then you'd fire the jar with the cannonballs flying all over the place, which would create a lot of damage. And these are interesting too. It's a bar shot, so this would be spinning at whatever it was shot at. So this here is an artist's impression depicting the British fleet leaving Amherstburg prior to the Battle of Lake Erie. British soldiers in the War of 1812. We call this the bateau. So this can move either with a sail or oars. Nice. Here. So this is a sea service musketoon or blunderbuss. So you see the barrel, how it opens up at the end. So usually they shot like a shotgun. Second is a 57 caliber long sea service flintlock pistol. It's this here. So these two are the same. Then you got the pistol and 1804 pattern cutlass right there, and the 1805 pattern Royal Navy sword. So I guess these were just for thrusting because the blade looks pretty narrow. If you try to hit another blade, you'd probably split it. So this is Her Majesty's Brig General Hunter. And another picture of Fort Malden. Back in the day, a naval cannon flintlock. So instead of lighting it up, you'd attach this part to the top of the cannon and just press the button and fire, or pull that chain and fire. So this is supposed to be, pretty sure, Tecumseh, Chief Tecumseh. So it looks like a sporterized flintlock. I'm not sure what it's called. Is that like the British trade musket. Very clear. Okay. Now this looks pretty old. So it says Essex Militia Officers Cody and Sword. They belong to Francis Caldwell, junior officer in the local militia, and he acted as an aide-de-camp to General Brock, and it may actually have been worn at the surrender of Detroit. So the surrender of Detroit happened August 16th, 1812. And that was a really genius tactical move by General Brock and Chief Tecumseh to cause American Brigadier General William Hull to surrender Fort Detroit. Battle of Frenchtown. So that was January 22nd, 1813. Now, just trying to figure out, when did General Harrison show up with his huge army? So this here is the Siege of Fort Meigs, Ohio, May 1813. So here we have captured American sword and pistols. So January 1813, First Nation warriors captured U.S. General James Winchester at the Battle of Frenchtown, and these are the weapons he surrendered, an event mocked in the cartoon here. There is the cartoon. So this is a U.S. militia's army uniform. So again, this is all from the War of 1812. And these are the General Service Medals with the Fort Detroit bar on the ribbon. Wait, yeah. So these medals recognized the capture of Fort Detroit, and it was issued to regulars, militias, soldiers, and First Nation warriors. This is a militia officer's sword from Lieutenant Colonel William Caldwell. And that is supposed to be an ivory-handled sword. So there's a big crack going down the middle of the ivory. It's a really cool lion's head on the another uniform. Call this the Elliott's coat. So this is supposed to be a gift-giving ceremony. Telescope. So, for 20 years, Fort Amherstburg was a base for a group of men that were in the British Indian Department. This, I believe, is Chief Tecumseh. Advisors to the First Nations. And the caption here says, bidding their allies farewell. So this is wampum strings. And it's small shells made into strings or belts. It's a powder horn. So they call that a McKee telescope. And a Gertie powder horn. Gertie powder horn and cane. And it belonged to Simon Gertie, an officer in the Indian Department. So let's head upstairs, see what's going on here. Pictures. Oh, it's just pictures of different militiamen. Have your suicide doors. King George III. Love the beautiful millwork on these railings. So, wonder where this steering wheel came from. Oh, you can move it. Great. So this came from the Detroit Shipbuilding Company, Detroit, Michigan. So it's probably from the 1900s. Because I think that's when the Detroit Shipbuilding Company consolidated with a bunch of smaller companies. So drummer, 41st Regiment, 1812. That's what he'd have looked like. So, looks like pistol and cavalry rifle. Yeah, cavalry rifles usually are that small. So, don't see anything on that sword there. Get that to clean the cannon out. Some more. So this is the Commissariat Officer 1838 uniform. So they were a civilian branch of the British Army responsible for purchasing food and supplies. So they would have been in the Royal Navy Yard down the street. So no, this wasn't worn by the commissariat officer. This was the midshipman Royal Navy officer. So officers in the Royal Navy wore blue uniforms like the one featured here. There were no uniform regulations for regular seamen. In 1813, the Royal Navy replaced the Provincial Marine in Amherstburg. There's another uniform. So here, it's a Brunswick percussion rifle from 1838. And it was the first percussion rifle adopted by the British Army. Right there. And this is an 1827 pattern Rifle Regiment officer's sword. And this is the Brunswick rifle sword bayonet. So a poster on what the riflemen from the Royal Canadian Rifle Regiment in 1842 look like. Oops. Knocked over the sign there. So I'll put it back up. Luckily I didn't break anything, but everything's made of plexiglass anyway, so it's pretty sturdy. So this is a ball gown and it's an example of upper class women's wear in the mid 1800s. So this portrait is of Sarah Elliott, 1790 to 1869. So, portrait of different postcards. Rammer School, 1922. The Library Theater from 1919.
We do not touch, right? So we can't go sit on the
Post Office from 1908. That was demolished in 1968. Amherstburg Municipal Building. It was constructed in 1900s or 1883 and then replaced in 1965. So that building's not there anymore. Dalhousie Street, 1908. Axe blade. Elliott Farm. So, Matthew Elliott was in the British Indian Department. The Bellevue House in Dalhousie from 1935. It's currently boarded up, but they're trying to find some use for it still, or investors who want to restore it. There was a notice of proposals in the paper, I guess a week or two ago, for interested parties. You could see the cannon, the mount with the cannonballs there. What a great view. So, you all know what that is from the insane asylum. Merchant account books attributed to the McGregor brothers, who had the general store in Sandwich. So during the War of 1812 and 1813, the General Harrison from the U.S. side, he burned down Sandwich, the whole town, but he left the McGregor house standing and the Duff Bobby house standing. Well, that was it. So John Healy. So this is called a spontoon, from 1792 to 1830. It's carried by the sergeant to display his rank. This is a cat o' nine tails. It's how they punished soldiers who didn't show discipline. So they would be lashed by that in public. So, bunch of different miniature soldiers. So this is about the rebellion in 1837 1838, led by Mackenzie, who wanted to turn this into the Republic of Canada.
That's what that is. It's a steering wheel for a boat.
So here we have a militia uniform from the time period, and the uniform epaulettes, a pair of dueling pistols, this here is a lithograph of Lord Brougham, a severe critic of Prince's actions in summarily executing the prisoners. So, apparently, this flag here is the only Republic of Canada flag that still exists. Wait. I don't know if you could see it through this plexiglass here. Yeah, you could see it. A little bit of a glare there. I wasn't sure. So we have some china from Schooner Ann. So Schooner Ann was a schooner that was captured on January 9th, 1838. And on that schooner were a bunch of rebels. So that's a grape shot, a very small one. Manacles to hold the prisoners. So this is a captured sword surrendered by Thomas Jefferson. Now that's just his middle name. It's Thomas Jefferson Sutherland, leader of the invaders of Pelee Island. Colonel John Prince, the militia commander, chased and captured the fleeing general the next day as he walked across the ice towards the American shore. So, February 25th, 1838 is the Battle of Fighting Island. March 3rd, 1838, Battle of Pelee Island. And December 4th, 1838, the Battle of Windsor. So here are the memoirs of Sutherland's career in the Patriot Army. Okay, some of the miniature soldiers. So let's head back down the stairs. Okay, yeah.
Did you see the swords and the musket?
Here is the brick barracks that are still standing. They also had wooden barracks that are no longer standing. There were apparently 2 wooden barracks for the soldiers, as they had at one point 400 like regular soldiers here. So, okay, so here you can see number 1 framed barracks circa 1839. So that was during the rebellion, not the War of 1812. So you can hear shouting in the distance. I don't know what that's for.
I still make a point of it.
Hi.
Good day.
Happy Canada Day.
Okay. So this looks like probably the sergeant's quarters. Old printing press.
This is now a printed message. It's much faster than having to write everything out by hand.
This might be the general's quarters. What does it say here? Estate of Major General Brock sold in 1812. So I guess they bought the estate out and they put it in this room.
My wife has a sticker that is a copy of the sign from Bath and Body Works, but it says Bath and Body Works.
So this one has a sign on it. So the sign says no drinking.
And you can also see a list there of all the soldiers in the force.
So regular soldiers.
And that's because if you were a young male at the fort, say the independence, so you're a little bit older than this little fellow here. So about 5 years older than this little fellow here. You could join the British Army as a drummer boy. Now the interesting thing about that is, like, let's say your father was like a private and you joined as a drummer boy, you'd actually be making more than your father by 10 cents.
You'd actually do what?
Making more than your father by 10 cents if you were a drummer boy and he was a private.
Wow.
So, and even the soldiers' wives actually often made more than the soldiers themselves.
That's what it said, like, sure there was sewing and all that.
Exactly, that's exactly right on. That's exactly why. So by this point in Fort Malden's history, there was about 700 people stationed here, and 600 of them soldiers, and these rooms can fit about 34 people total. So not very big, but again, all three rooms. Do you have a question?
Nope.
Oh, sorry. All three rooms would have been soldiers' quarters, just in this one. So.
Did they ever have fires in here where they have to use the buckets of sand, or?
None that have been documented. So again, because of the way that history works, there's a very real possibility that somebody messed up and then everyone else was too embarrassed to write it down.
Just kind of covered it up.
So that's the problem with history. Like, we're discovering new stuff every year. Like for example, just like I've been at the forge a few times. I've been here 3 years. In the past 2 years that we've been here, one of the things that we've been saying is that the blacksmiths here would make horseshoes, and then this year we've kind of been forced to eat crow because that's actually apparently not true. Apparently, there's a whole different thing that made horseshoes called carriers or farriers. Sorry, and that was so we've been forced to kind of go back on that and re-educate. That's part of it comes with the job teaching history, and sometimes you're gonna have to make corrections and yeah.
So the general would be in the next room? Or what rank would the next room?
Officers in general all got their own room, so it could be anything. They would have had a room exactly like that, but the room that we have in there is a reconstruction. It was initially an exhibit in the museum.
Okay.
You'll see like a little bit of a brick, like it's like an L-shaped piece of brick or rock over there.
Okay.
That's part of the original officers' quarters because they had the whole own barracks building.
Right.
So, but yeah, no, the one next door is an officers' quarter. It's just been reconstructed to be that.
I see. Okay. And is that there was some little pamphlet there that was talking about General Brock and the estate? Is that like recovered from that auction and put in there, or what?
I think so, because I know a lot of stuff in the first room there is original.
Okay.
Like for example, I know some of the things we have in here are original, like the beds, that sign, the drums, I believe, even the cards. But I also know that some of the stuff we have are like authentic, like the jackets you see hanging up. And they're accurate to the period, but not original. They're recreations, because no jacket's going to what's made like this is going to survive 200 years.
These cards are original?
Those are original.
Wow.
What is it? What's the material? So that's paper, or how is it? How did they make them back then?
Not quite sure. It doesn't quite feel like I usually carry. I don't have it.
Okay.
I usually carry a pack of playing cards.
Okay.
And they feel very different than like say this one. So it feels almost cardboardy, but I don't think it's like cardboard.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm not too sure.
Nice. Right. Thank you. Sorry. So, second room number 3 is closed. So this is called the Bell Tents. So it says, before the construction of frame barracks in 1839, soldiers lived in these tents. A little mortar. I wonder if it's original or not. Pretty cool if it was original, the brass cannon there. Oh, I wonder what's inside. You looking? Ah, look at this. Another demo. So, artillery, traveling blacksmith forge.
That's okay. That's alright. So this is our blacksmith forge. You can tell by the wheels it was a traveling blacksmith forge, so it would go from here to Fort York to Fort George, pretty much anywhere in southern Ontario that it was needed. You can also kind of see it's not the biggest, so they don't make anything like cannonballs or swords or anything like that. So they make thousands of nails and then thousands of tent pegs and thousands of buttons, because you know when you need those things, because you know they're always traveling, right? So you just make them while you could. Branding also is a big thing. So like the block of wood, right? They put the BO, which stands for Board of Ordnance, on all their furniture. You may have seen it in the barracks. So it just kind of says that it's government property. So it's just kind of their way to put their name on it, basically. They also would brand deserters that they caught crossing into the United States, and they bring them back. You may have seen it in our museum. It's like a large letter D, and they'd stamp their back with it to kind of prevent other people from doing it, because if you saw that happen to your friend, you certainly would have also tried.
What did the D stand for?
Deserter.
Oh, okay.
Someone
Yeah.
who left, right?
Right.
Hello, mind you.
You saw that D stamped in the other.
Oh yeah? Oh yeah.
With like pins on
Yep,
it.
quite large, quite painful looking, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't heated up.
Oh yeah, definitely. This is our blacksmith forge. I'm not sure how much of that you caught, but as you can see, it's not the biggest, but they're gonna make cannonballs or muskets. They make small things.
Some nice tools here. Another view of the side.
So if you lost a button, it would be important you want to find it.
Hopefully, look for it. Hopefully, because if it wasn't fixed by the next inspection, you certainly would get punished. Usually, like a whipping or maybe a docking of pay even sometimes. Not great. But they also make nails and tent pegs for their own building structures and stuff like that. You never know when you need it. It'd be gone for 2 to 3 months at a time at the other forts. So kind of made everything in the hopes that you would use it by the time they got back.
Well, if a soldier lost a button, he'd hope the guy would come along and he'd maybe buy a few extras.
Oh yeah, they probably would have had quite a few extras on hand just in case.
They'd have to be the right color for the
Yeah,
uniform.
you're right. These ones have numbers on them. Like, I'm not sure if you can tell.
Really?
It's 34.
Okay.
But the regiment that was here.
Yeah.
So hopefully,
It's all got a match.
or hopefully the guy who's inspecting you isn't looking too close.
Yeah. So would they use coal?
Yeah, charcoal, yeah. So, keeps it nice and hot throughout the day. Hello. Enjoy your Canada Day.
You too.
Yeah.
Hello, how are you? Hi. Welcome to our blacksmith forge. I'd like to try your branding of blacksmith.
So it looks like there's something going on in the park over there. So here's a wall, like a partial wall, from the 1820 ordnance shed. Yeah, you can see the foundations here. It says here, so this is the officers' brick barracks from 1839. There are the foundation bricks all around. Let's get a view up here, top of this mound. So this cannon's missing its base. Okay, it's a British cannon. I thought it might have been one of those trophy Russian cannons that were brought back by the British from the Crimean War. But those cannons, they have a Russian logo on the top of it. And we have one in Windsor by the Ambassador Bridge. So if you're ever down by the Ambassador Bridge in Windsor, you can check it out. So, some kind of live band happening at the park here. Yeah, we can check this out. Okay. Do I have to go around, or can I walk straight? I think I can walk straight through. Alright. Okay. Not a problem. So this is the gatehouse. And further down is Royal Navy Park. So let's see what they got going on here for Canada Day. A lot of people wearing these red shirts. I wonder if they're handing them out or if people just bought them at the store. Or maybe they're part of some kind of team. Coming up here is the Park House. That's a museum. And it says there's an event today. Okay. This is the oldest house in Amherstburg. Moved here from River Rouge in 1798. So it was purchased in 1838 by Thomas Park, and he owned it till 1945 and moved it here in 1972. and then the Rotary Club took over.
Never really know what's going on. Look at me sometimes like all you want to do is run. Hear me out, hear me out. It's all the things you never show. There are the things I want to know. Secrets start in your heart so slow. But if you don't wanna tell me now, I guess I'll never know. Losing almost all my energy. It's getting hard to talk to you, and I'm the only one who speaks. It's all the things you never show.
Let's get some cannons over there. So it looks like we have some more pensioners' houses down here. So this one belonged to Matthew Pollard, 1851. So what's behind here? Here we got a better view of the rear of the park house. There's a commissariat's storage house for food and supplies. Nicely taken care of garden here. So here's a map. Okay. Yep. I love this statue. It's really cool. So, some more nice views of the river here. Yeah, must be nice having a house with a boat in the back. Another view of the statue. I don't know if that's original to one of the ships from 1812, or if it's just from a steamliner. So that's the ferry over there, and it takes you from the Amherstburg mainland all the way to Boblo Island. And on Boblo Island you have a bunch of private residences. There used to be like remnants of the old Boblo Island Park on that island from a decade ago. I think they took it all down because there were some towers there 10 years ago, and I don't see them there anymore. So I think it's pretty much cleared out, and they'll probably just turn the rest of the island into plots for housing. So we head down to the commissionate's house, and I suspect it's closed, but it should be open on Canada's Day. I don't know why they don't open it on Canada's Day. And I could see the sign from here. It does say closed. But what we can do is look in the window. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, it's a nice little museum here. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it with the glare here. Wonder. So there's a cannonball in the window. I think you can see the cannonball. Not sure if you can see anything else. So I'll just move my camera around, see if we can see anything. It's an interesting restaurant over there. I was there a long time ago. A great view. Excellent view. So we continue to walk around in the Royal Navy Yard and see, are they taking the stage down or putting it up? Can't tell. Okay, so here's a sign. So we'll find out more about it. So it says here, Canada Day live entertainment, 6 p.m. opening ceremonies, 6:30 the Adam Butcher Band, at 8:30 is the Buck 20 concert, and then there's fireworks afterwards. So that should be cool. I already saw the Detroit fireworks last week, so don't need to stick around to see the fireworks again. It's just going to take too long. Because right now, what do I got for time? It's only 1 o'clock. Some more cannons here. So, there's some information on these cannons. I don't know. Canada flag there. So it's just, these plaques are just memorials to World War II and World War I. And there isn't a plaque on this cannon. So the sign here says, hang a left to the Visitor Information Center at the Gordon House. So we'll keep walking on this brick path. See what we encounter here. Got a piece of artwork by Charles Comfort from 1971. I wonder, oil on canvas. So yeah, this is just a copy. It's not the original. So it seems, yeah, I think it's like plastic board or something, and they just copied it on there. So, where is the access to the Visitor Information Center? Really nice landscaping in this park. See what this plaque here says. Yeah, so it just ends over there. So the Keep History Alive engraved brick program, the King's Navy Yard. So if you want more information, I'm sure you can find it on the internet. Just Google it. So over here is a hosta garden. Streets are closed and patios are open. Let's check out the Gordon House. Okay, that's locked. That's interesting. I would think it would be open today. Maybe it's open from the back. Get the feeling it's not open today. Don't know why. The people here, the visitor center should be open.
Oh, yeah, I don't want to sit by the toilet. No. See, it's so steep that they're not supposed to be that way. I know they came up here. They broke their leg. That's what they got there, right? Originally.
No, it's not for breaking legs. It's just to slow the soldiers down from running over the hills, so musketeers have time to shoot them down before they get up that hill. All right. Man, I'm putting up a sweat right now. Oh, so we have some plastic axe throwing here.
Not very good at it. Okay, you ready to move on?
Oh. You gotta take them all down. Let's do this right. Nope.
Yeah, come on. Come on.
Nope. Nope. Ah, not good at this. As a Viking, I'd probably get killed. This is how deep the trenches are, running along the fort. Okay. So, someone's giving a presentation. Let's see if we can get it before it's over.
You can't leave it alone. Carry your pussy just I'm terrified he was. British Army and the First Nation warriors. Terrified. Absolutely not. Imagine what it would be like to have to face off with. So the Brits are like, okay, well, it's going to be easy now. We know exactly what to do. General Isaac Brock, whose name you probably have heard, he was the commander of all the troops in Upper Canada, which is now Ontario. He came down here to Fort Malden, met with Tecumseh, who had come up from Ohio, and they came up with a plan of like, okay, how are we going to take the fort of Detroit? If you have the fort of Detroit, you control all of basically the West. So like, okay, well, it's easy. The guy is afraid of Brits and First Nations, so he's well, he's gonna give it. So he took some Canadian militiamen, who's basically farmers who were like trained 1 day a year on how to shoot, marshes and stuff like this. Gave them old red coats that have been lying around. Marched them up to Windsor, pointed the guns. We call them guns, it's like cannons. If they're not in a boat, they're called guns. If they're on a boat, it's cannons. Pointed them at Windsor. Sorry, they were in Windsor pointing them at Detroit. And Tecumseh and his men made it in the middle of the night. They made it up through the woods, up to Detroit. The fort there, if you imagine the fort kind of like this, just a little bit bigger, a little bit different arrangement. They started running. Tecumseh's warriors, about between 200 and 400 of them. They ran in front of the forts. Then they went into a ditch once the Americans couldn't see it. Ran back the other way, came back out, ran past again, and over and over. And the guys in the fort that tried to count them, they were, okay, there's too many to count. They thought there were 6,000. So, poor guy in there, sees all the redcoats, stationed in Windsor across the river, has apparently thousands of First Nations running around his fort. He is terrified. That's when he gets the letter from Amherstburg saying, "Hey, Mr. Hull, or dear General," whatever you would have said at the time. Well, we're here. As you can see, there's all these First Nations warriors here. There's nothing I can do to control them. They are just going to end everything. You know, you might as well give us the fort. And poor Mr. Hull, General Hull, fell completely apart. He could not deal with it. Opened the door, came out with a white flag, and gave the fort of choice to the British. And with that one fort, control of Wisconsin, Illinois, Ohio, Indiana, parts of Minnesota, parts of Kentucky, all in British hands. Because they found this one diary in this one box. Pretty neat. 2013, what? No, in 1813, so there were battles going on and on. In 1813, there was a big battle just south of here on Lake Erie. The battle, originally called the Battle of Lake Erie, great name, where there were 8 American boats and 6 British boats engaged in a battle, and the British, being a very powerful naval power, almost carried the day until the wind changed and drove the flagship into another boat that they could not disentangle them, and the Americans were able to pick them off one at a time. The British lost that battle. It was actually so loud that you could hear the cannons here in Amherstburg, and they would throw on. People were commenting about how they could hear, they didn't know what was going on. Like, well, there's a battle, they just lost it. And by losing the Battle of Lake Erie, they also lost control of Lake Erie, and with that, the whole shipping route that comes up Lake Erie, Detroit River, Lake Huron, they realized that without being able to use Lake Erie, they were unable to hold all of this whole peninsula here in southwestern Ontario. Wouldn't have been able to move soldiers here, ammunition, nothing, so they decided a couple weeks after the battle was over, we're going to withdraw from here. They burned down Fort Malden. They didn't want the Americans to come in here and have a nice little fort just sitting there, like, here you go. Burned it all to the ground. Took everybody with them, the cannons, whatever horses, draft animals were in Amherstburg. A lot of people from Amherstburg who were what was called late loyalists, so they were born in the U.S. but had come over after the independence had been declared to live in Canada. They all went, moved towards the Niagara Peninsula, Toronto, and at the Battle of Moraviantown, which happened just outside of London, Ontario, they got into a skirmish with Americans who were there. Unfortunately, Tecumseh, who was with them, was shot during this battle. Don't really know by whom. A lot of American soldiers claimed it was them because they wanted to get, you know, the renown, like, oh, I shot Tecumseh, yeah, sure. Nobody really knows who did. But with that battle, Moraviantown basically ended the War of 1812 in terms of fighting here in southwestern Ontario. The Americans arrived here, found the fort obviously burned down, a nice smoldering mass, and actually if you dug 2 feet straight down, there's a nice layer of ash. So it's actually true, unless somebody managed to get this ash down there. They got here, they rebuilt the fort, so kind of like in the dimension you see now, this is what the American fort would look like. And they were here basically until July 1st, 1815. This is the longest American occupation anywhere in Canada, right here. And if you're celebrating Canada Day today, July 1st is also a great day here because that's when this occupation kind of ended. In terms of winners and losers of the War of 1812, there's definitely no winners. Everything went back to how it was before the war, like no border changes or anything. The Americans gave everything back, the Brits gave everything back. A little irony is that when the peace was signed in Ghent in Belgium on Christmas Eve of 1814, it again took the letters a long time to arrive here in the U.S. and in Canada. So the largest battle of the War of 1812 actually happened 2 weeks after peace had already been signed, which is the Battle of New Orleans, which is one that the Americans will remember because they gave the right old whipping, the way that the Americans do it. Fortunately, kind of pointless because we're already in peace, but they didn't know, so they went for it. So nothing really happened. Status quo was restored for the Brits, for Canadians, and for the Americans. For the Americans, it was the first war that they ever fought outside of, basically among themselves. First foreign war. the peace that was signed on the 24th of December in 1814 lasts to this day. We're going to be shooting a cannon in a minute towards Michigan. It might change today. We might break it. We're very bad shots. We're not supposed to shoot at Michigan, but if we do, that can happen. So you were here when it started. The only real losers, as always, would have been the First Nations. They were used basically by the British as, not as puppets, but they were kind of used against the Americans. They were promised certain things that the Brits then didn't follow through on. And once it was decided, okay, we're going to keep the borders as they were, the Britons did not get a native homeland as promised by the Brits. The Americans took them, moved from all to Kansas to Oklahoma. The Americans came in, set the Ohio Valley, and that was the end of that. So a little bit of a bittersweet story. And I think we're going to be repaying the favor now by shooting at Michigan. Excellent. So if you guys want to come down to the waterfront, we'll be shooting the 6-pounder cannon. This is going to be my first time doing it, so this is even 2 hours. Thanks very much, guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hello. Yeah, I want to see this up.
Oh, or the actually there's a paint today, there's paint outside, that's on the other side, it's very good.
Maybe they're going out for the demonstration. So I think you can march behind them. Okay, march behind them.
They're both taking a step with the right foot at the same time and both taking a step with the left foot at the same time? I guess they're marching. Let's go. Thanks.
Sorry.
I've been on their gun.
Yeah, that's a man. Seriously?
Yeah, we Oh yeah, it looks sweet.
Here comes the cannon powder.
What type of camera is this?
DJI Osmo 2.
Okay, DJI Osmo 2?
Yep.
Okay. Nice, man. Really nice.
Yeah, it is.
Key for gunpowder.
I think Marty has the key.
You can't find it, huh? Don't be cute.
We did.
Standing in front of that.
I didn't have a sandwich, but I had some cookies.
Really?
I will. We'll do the cannon fire off and then I'll eat it. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that, mate. Yep.
What's that?
You got enough in there?
What's that?
I do easily what?
We are good. I can't wait to hear Sir Dick get fired out of that. Big old 6-pounder. Fired this thing off numerous times. Swallow that thing to look wimpy.
Yeah, a little bit.
I like it.
My phone is actually fully charged. No, he wanted me to hold his phone. Hold on. Look at his watch. Canada. I love how they're used to go like, hey, honey, you need a light? We use a lantern, sweetie. Why are you touching it?
Lieutenant Kate, wood's not going in the grass past the...
No, let's put it out here. Come out again? No.
Dell. Or we can sit here. Oh, I got it set. No offense. Mind your step. Oh, no. Don't want to. Either way. Sorry. Yeah.
Hey, look where Mr. Freddy is. We have a deep conversation.
It's all fake leather, so it's just... So I bought a real one and it just...
And a shrimp food. One shrimp
What is crew members who are not on, position yourselves along the inside of the rope, please. Position. Yeah.
What you just said.
Yeah, position yourself on the inside of the rope somewhere.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the
And especially called flash burn. Sometimes it feels like really bad. Every time I get it, I get sunburn.
It wouldn't be me ever. At least one side. Only thing is,
it shelters your skin from getting toasted and firing muskets, rifles, or cannons.
Yeah, I put the cartoons next to them too. Those are the two. Yeah. That's why I put those. That's my crew. Earbud?
I'm gonna get one ready so that way it's ready.
Put it in the box. And you know never to leave the box. Not gonna fire. Yeah, exactly right.
Our left tent is Sky and Blue, and the top hat there, our commander, is this fella right here in the fancy hat, and our sergeant is Sky.
Don't go by the cases for 8 years, okay? Wait for the cases for 8 years. Okay?
This guy with the fancy hat, he's a commando. He tells all these subjects.
Yes.
Right.
It is not so.
Wonder how long this thing will go before you're out after the fire.
No long.
Okay, come here, pal.
See, he's putting in a big cannon. See? Okay. See the big cannon? You want to cover your ears with a big boom? Just cover your ears. Here, stay down and cover your ears. She can't see them. I just switch with you because she's got garbage cans right there. But I just there, so she can see it there. Okay? See, watch the gun. See this? How to put it in there?
I believe I'm out in talk that I can be, so I will just try to speak really loudly into the microphone. Hello, bonjour, welcome to Fort Malden, National Historic Site of Canada, and Happy Canada Day. Hope everybody is having an awesome day here at Fort Malden and in Downtown Windsor. Thank you so much for coming to the fort today. We have a bit of a plan today. Normally you'd fire the cannon, the town would do their opening ceremonies and we'd fire our cannon. The town is doing their ceremonies, I believe, in the park. We figured we'd do one and we'd do a little bit of a historical twist to it today. We're going to be talking about some of the historical anthems that would have been played and sung here at Fort Malden from its early existence into modern day. So many of you might have actually already received a card with lyrics on it. We really hope that you'll be able to join us in belting out this. It'll be like the Tabernacle Choir today. But originally Fort Amherstburg was constructed in 1796 as a British fortification to replace the fort at Detroit. And as it became basically then part of the British Empire, of course the first anthem that would have been played would have been God Save the King. By the way, just so that everybody knows, we will be singing these anthems, and actually we have a beautiful singer here today, Sienna Pacheco, who does this for kind of all the time. Singing, so. But we will also be firing a cannon at the end end of every single anthem. So basically, as we get close to the end, you will hear the gunners shout, "Prepare to fire," and then fire. At that point, I would highly suggest to cover your ears. It will be loud. Aussi, s'il y a des personnes ici qui préfèrent une explication française, visitez une des personnes ici qui sont habillées en vert dans l'uniforme du Parc Canada. Ils pourraient parler un peu et expliquer en français aussi. So, without any further ado, we're starting a little early just because the clouds in the United States are looking a wee bit ominous. So we're going to get started here with our very first anthem that was played here at Fort Malden, "God Save the King." This is a 6-pounder, by the way. A 6-pound shot would be fired out of it, normally for anti-personnel, but could sink a small boat as it rolled by. And in fact, the 6-pounder that we have here is a replica of one that was used at firing at American or rebel vessels during the rebellions of 1837. So the piece has been loaded, the fuse has been put in, which is generally a goose quill filled with black powder, and it is ready to fire.
You don't have this all the time,
Okay, so they sound great.
July 1st, 1867, 156 years ago today, the Dominion of Canada was created. Confederation occurred, and Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and Canada, the Dominion of Canada. Now, although God Save the Queen at that point remained as the main anthem, the unofficial anthem, written by a guy named Alexander Weir, quickly became the unofficial anthem that was used by Canadian soldiers in world wars as their unofficial anthems, right up until we get to the final one. So again, I'm starting to see worse clouds, so we're going to get moving into number 2, Maple Leaf Forever. Whereas the 6-pounder fired a 6-pound ball, and they were both used in conjunction with infantry very regularly. So we just are going to wait a couple of minutes here as the gun crews prepare. We will be there 3 minutes or so, and then we will be doing our last anthem. So let me talk a little bit about that. The Maple Leaf Forever, if you've never heard it before and that was your first time hearing it, it's a really lovely tune. And really it does engender a lot of patriotism for sure for English-speaking Canadians. If you listen to the words, then right off the bat, when basically Wolfe, the dauntless hero, came, not exactly the hero for people in Quebec in that Nouvelle-France. Of course, Wolfe was the victorious general of Germany at the Battle of the Plains of Abraham during the 7 Years' War. And so this is a very British-centric, a very English, really, song. So it didn't really sit too well with people from Quebec. So they created, actually it was the Lieutenant Governor of Quebec in 1880 who commissioned his own patriotic song to be written, which ended up being called Oh, Canada. Now it had its own French lyrics. The English lyrics weren't actually translated and created until about 1906. And it took, really by this point, it was still being sung and becoming more and more popular across the entire country. But it really wasn't until 1964 that Prime Minister Lester Pearson said, let's make this into the official national anthem of Canada. Now, for those of you, of course, who follow any kind of government at all, you might know that things never happen in a snap of a finger. And so it certainly was something that took quite a bit of time as they formed the committee. And that committee had a few subcommittees. They had public inquiries, public consultations, all sorts of different things to try to decide on A, if they should make Oh Canada the official national anthem, and B, what lyrics are we going to use. And so this continued on until finally 16 years later, in 1980, the government of Canada officially adopted Oh Canada as its official national anthem. And while God Save the King remains our royal anthem, Oh Canada from that day forward for 43 years has been our national anthem. It is Canada Day. It's Canada Day up Canada Way, the first day of July in Stop and Thompson's. And since it's going to be a great one and we're going to celebrate as much as we can, we're going to fire off both of our cannons at the end of Oh Canada. So again, because we have clouds and rumbling rolling in and it looks like that the guns are getting pretty close to loaded, without any further ado, I would like you to join us in singing Oh Canada.
There we go. Scarlett, you know this song.
Canada.
Canada and Fort Malden. Have a great Canada. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm not a member, so I can't drink.
Here they're giving away free cupcakes.
There we go. Everybody else doing stuff.
Enjoy your cupcake and I'll give you a thing.
Thank you.
It goes. That's a lot of ice. I just got Wayne.
I don't think anybody wants the blue box.
I got it.
That one? Okay. Do you want your flight? Thanks.
Thanks. So we'll save this for later. Here are the soldiers going back to the barracks. I hear thunder in the background and I felt a couple raindrops, so I'm gonna head to my car and call it a day. So if you like this trip, please click like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.